What's going on, guys, and welcome back to our Surviving Java series. And as you can probably tell, we are chipping away at this project bit by bit, and I did actually make the changes to the carpet bombers on this one around. There's another design of carpet bombers, ones that actually drop TNT on their way up and on their way down, which I'm probably going to try for the next run. But lifting them up, I think it was 6 blocks I lifted them compared to the last lot, and that seems to have done the trick to stop the TNT from jumping high enough in order to take them out. But yeah, we are actually making progress, and we've hit past the halfway point on doing this as well. So what I'm tempted to do is, on the next section, I may just do the entire run up to about here, and then that way we've only got one more section to do. So we should hopefully be able to get to work on the actual quad witch hut farm within the next, probably I'd say about the next 4 to 5 episodes. We could probably begin work on it. Like, I've not landed on a design for it yet, and I will actually have to go around and patch up all of the walls, because yeah, there's loads of holes in the walls everywhere. I'm gonna have to patch them all up before actually doing anything, and confer with Mac to see what sort of farm design we want to go for. I'm definitely leaning towards like a looting farm design, where we share apart all of the witches from each hut to a central sort of collection chamber and use a looting sword on them. So it's like XP as well as like double the sort of drops that you would get, as opposed to killing them. But obviously killing them straight away, it could be completely AFKable very easily, as opposed to the looting farm, which isn't very easy, considering that they always use potions depending on which way you choose to try to kill them off. But nevertheless, that's enough for this area, and the projects I actually want to get done today there's actually 3 projects I want to get done, and all 3 of them have sort of been teething away at me for like the better part of, well, a good while now, and they're basically improvement projects on existing farms or existing projects that need to be adjusted or enhanced. Now, with the we've not taken advantage of obviously the build height or the extra layers below the world. Now obviously we've taken advantage underneath our tree by putting our main storage system underneath the tree in a big cavern, so we are taking advantage of the like lower 64 levels in that sense. And if you're wondering what this is, we've just got a bot who's keeping an eye on our storage system while we're running through. I've been going around cleaning up past projects and just throwing in shulkers upon shulkers of resources to feed through the system. And no word of a lie, I would waste like 95% of my time AFK at the storage system, just letting the stuff feed through, because when you've got like a full inventory, like 27 shulkers worth of random resources, it does take quite a while for it to feed through the system, like a good 6 or 7 hours. So just having a bot do that, I'm perfectly fine with, and he's happy as, although I've had to put him in a box because he did actually get killed by a slime last night, and it ended up busting the sorting system. I actually had to go through and search, I think it was 384 droppers for stray items before starting it back up, because otherwise it would have been completely broken. But nevertheless, the first one that I want to tackle, we'll do these in order, is one that's near the stairwell, and I do believe it is around about here-ish. So let's head on over to the stairwell. This one I'm actually going to rope Clowd. He's actually on now in to help him, because it is like hella grindy. It's going to be hella grindy, and that is taking advantage of the 64 levels below that we've obviously got new access to, and that is to go and improve our quad, is it quad or triple slime chunk farm that we've got down here. So what I want to do, because obviously the slime farm went down to the bedrock layer, which was like not -5, it was like Y level 5. But I actually want to drop this down all the way down to the new bedrock layer, which means removing the entire bottom floor, having to cap off this elevator, and then digging it all the way down to bedrock, and then placing in a bunch of new spawning platforms, and then from the spawning platforms have to re-add the killing chamber floor. So it is going to require just quite a little bit of work, sort of tearing it all up and then lowering it and mining it all out. But what we could do is jump into a time lapse of me doing this. Oh my god, look at all of the, oh actually the new chainmail stuff. Look, we've got the new armor set, which is, I do believe, the gold one, which is the tiger. I forgot about all of this setup. This was like our initial enchanting area, because this was where we was getting XP. But it's not like we even need slime blocks that much. Like, we have actually got a fairly reasonable stockpile of slime blocks. But if ever I want to choose to build with them in a large scale project, I would much rather have a farm that's just like insanely efficient. And we are going to obviously have to do a bunch new lighting up in the caves as well. But first things first, let's just get this sort of dugout platforms in and the new kill chamber floor in, just to see the sort of rates that we get in. So yeah, so I'll catch you back after that's all done. Alright guys, so it's now the following day, actually it's the following 2 days. Digging this all the way down to bedrock, Clowd actually helped me massively, and after about 4 layers digging through deep slate, we then resorted to using some TNT of taking down large chunks of it before digging it out, which actually worked out really well. It probably half the digging time by at least around about well, I would say half, but then half would indicate 50%. But it definitely took down the digging time by well over half. It's like around about 70 or 80% worth of the digging was done by TNT. And I actually ended up having to go off and make an entire shulker full of TNT midway through digging it. So yeah, that was fun. But we always have them sort of resources on hand, because it's just a lot of sand, and whenever I tend to get sand, I tend to get like within 10 or 20 shulkers worth of sand whenever I go to harvest it. But yeah, so we've always got a decent bit on hand. But this is now the deepest slime farm that I've ever been part of making, with this many platforms, and they are just like continuously spawning and continuously dying. I'm fairly sure, because I've only got one minecart doing the collection, I don't think it's going to keep up with it. And if I wanted to sort of speed it up even more, I could actually add iron golems onto the side of the platforms to make the slimes jump off a lot quicker, which would then obviously increase the rates. And what I may do for the collection system, rather than using a hopper minecart with magma blocks, I may well just use soul sand with wither roses, and then just have the entire floor made of hoppers all feed in, so that way the collection system can and will keep up. Because they will come up to these chests up here, and these tend to fill relatively quickly. But when these slime balls come in, even if they are coming in at such a speed, not only have you got the speed of the hoppers pushing the items into the chest, but you've got the speed of the hoppers pulling items from the chest. So I do believe a hopper can pull items double as quick as it can push them, which means you are actually technically getting the speed of like 3 hoppers collecting these items that are coming in, by having the hopper chains underneath one another. So keeping up for the collection on this end isn't too bad, but I'm fairly sure that with the rates that these sort of kick off, especially when I'm the only one on, the hopper minecart will end up getting full before it is able to distribute it, because I've only got a line off for I think 6 or 7 hoppers feeding into 2 automatic droppers. So yeah, but we'll see how it goes. If I do get the inkling that it needs to be changed, I can do that, and it's just very minor tweaking change, like hopper cost. It doesn't really cost much. It's more just it's wood, which we've got farms for, iron, which there are farms on the server for. I've not actually made one yet, but that's another project for another day. Now for the next part of this episode, what I actually want to work on, I've spent the time sort of harvesting geodes in order to collect the, oh my god, this is like a throw. I need to sort out a proper elevator for here. I did go round and I lit up all of the surface in a despawn sphere, and I also went round and lit up most of the caves that I could find underneath to increase the rates of the slime farm. So yes, that's how comes it's actually kicking out as much as it is. But I did actually spend the time of harvesting the geodes. We've got a couple of geodes, well, we've got 3 geodes over that way. And then I do believe Sai's got 3 geodes, so I was over there harvesting them. And I was changing all of the crystal into tinted glass. I think I've got like 5 or 6 shulkers worth of tinted glass. So if we head on over to the main zoo building, and then we come in here, which by the way is another project I really need to get around to working on. But nevertheless, so what have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, just shy of 5 I do believe, and this is still kicking out a bunch of different random resources I've got smelting. So let's pick up these guys, and have I got a shulker worth of dirt would be really handy if I got a shulker full. Yes I do. Oh no, so I've got 230, 627 stacks, there we go. And that should be all that we need actually for doing this next part. And if I remember correctly, it should be over towards the southwest direction. Because we expanded the slime farm going downwards, why have I... Oh, okay, I thought that was only 1 rocket for some reason. Because we expanded the slime going downwards, taking full advantage of the negative 64 layers, what we now want to do is see how much we can ramp up the rates of the drowned farm by expanding this going upwards. So, yeah, what I need to make sure to do is... Like, I don't even know how tall this is already. I know that it's tall enough to... It's high enough out of the area down below, so we had to light up just a very small section. So what we need to do is actually add a despawn sphere, just so I can make sure that we are not... is that going to be this one? No, that's the other one. That's this one. Okay, just to make sure that we're not building it up and out of the actual despawn sphere, because the last thing we want is it to not be in the area that you're actually going to be getting spawns, which is going to be around about... What does it go up to? It's like, because this was build limit 256. Was it? Can you build? Or am I just like completely getting this wrong? Was it 64 up and 64 down that they added? Yeah, it was. So it's like another, say, 60 layers above us that we could probably build up, and as long as we're not cutting out of the circle, we should be alright. So what I do need to do now is actually remove the top of this, get rid of the water that's dropping down, and then expand the walls up as much as I can without going outside the border. I'll just use as much of the tinted glass as I got. I'm just going to take it as far as the tinted glass allows us to take it, and then we can cap it off with the blocks that we're obviously going to be mining up from the top of this anyway. So yeah, let's jump into a time lapse of me cracking on with this. Alright then guys, so it has been a good while of taking this farm all the way up to near enough build height. Let's bring this back, and did not mean to take a screenshot, but it's one of many I've accidentally taken. I have got rid of our mob sounds just because being here whilst I'm sort of farming these guys, it gets so loud. I'll come back every 5 minutes to sort of clear them all, and yeah, when they build up it just becomes ridiculous, especially with the gurgling. So after about an hour and a half to 2 hours sort of AFK swiping every now and again, we've got half a stack of Nautilus shells. Obviously the filter itself takes up I think like half a stack or 41. I did end up just using the whatchamacallits, the lightning rods to fill out the other slots because we had copper here. So we are technically farming copper as well, and the good stuff. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tridents, which is amazing for like an hour and a half worth of swiping. Considering that, like, obviously this farm, oh, there's another trident, happy days. Considering this farm is mainly designed for Nautilus shells and tridents, it is doing its job very, very well. I should really put a fire thing underneath where our rotten flesh is sort of getting dropped out. Like if I kill a bunch of these, you'll see it's just being shot down to the ground because I couldn't be asked to set it up. It's like I had to scaffold all the way up in order to get the bottom section on, and then actually put in the sorting system for it, which is just very, very tedious sort of work. But as for how high this goes up, this is actually, can we get some blocks? Let's grab some blocks. I can just show you how high this actually goes up. So they obviously, the ones that spawn higher up do take longer to come down, but once they drop down so far, it frees up spawning spots towards the top for more to spawn. So it is just like a constant cycle of them coming in, and considering it's a 2x3 area that they drop into, and I still end up with them dying from entity cramming after about 20 minutes. It is not bad at all taking it up this high. So as for how high from build limit we are exactly 3 blocks from build limit itself, which is extremely high, to be honest with you. I just ran with it until I was running low on the glass. So if we bring up our shapes, I know that one of them's here, this one. So I was going by this to make sure that we didn't actually build outside of the despawn sphere, because obviously the last thing we want is to build it too high and for them to despawn, but the despawn sphere is actually above build limit, so we couldn't even go that high even if we wanted to. But yeah, nevertheless, that is probably going to be it for today. Let's get rid of that because that is very, very distracting. That's probably going to be it today. We've taken the slime farm all the way down to the new bedrock layer, and we took the drowned... How? I was gliding. I've not died for so long and my items have gone everywhere. 143 levels. The first time I've died in God knows how long. I don't know where I'm going to respawn. Oh, I'm going to respawn here, which isn't too bad, I guess. Yeah, I'll pick up my stuff, and great, thank you, awesome. Let's put back on our wings. Did I take off like my boots or something? I've got to go all the way down there to grab all my stuff now, and yeah, obviously it's not going to let me sleep because all of these guys are here. Can we no. Okay, so yeah, that's going to do it for today. Hopefully I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.